celebration to honor our cancer survivors as well as those who no longer are with us. Cancer shows no preference. It takes young, old, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, best friends. Let us pay tribute to those who we love and all those who have been affected by cancer. We've put a face and voice to this disease. We know we have made a difference and we will continue to make a difference. We will keep fighting until there is a cure. We love the people these luminarias represent. Each luminary will touch us in a special way. And now I'd like to introduce Amanda Belzel, who is going to share her story of being a caregiver with us.
Oh my God, that's so proud.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hi. My name is Amanda Belzel. I've grown up around the American Cancer Society and around cancer, as we all have. My aunt is the phenomenal Kathy Baker, who we all know and love so much. You know, I'm gonna be honest here. Throughout my childhood, these relays were largely for fun for me. I had never put much thought into why we walked a million laps and rang bells, or why we slept in a tent on a football field. It was silly and fun and gave me something to do with the people I love. Now, as I have grown up and have been around the block, I know that we relay for so much more. I think though sometimes it's hard to really understand and appreciate what's happening around you until you experience it firsthand. I felt grounded and earned this sense of perspective when I was told by my mom and dad that mom had received a breast cancer diagnosis in May of 2020. First, a pandemic, and now this. That was a lot. Having cancer and watching someone you love have cancer is awful at any time, but I have to say cancer through COVID was a different beast. My mom would say that having cancer during COVID was a lonely sport. One of the hardest things about being a caregiver at this time was never being able to set foot in the hospital, never meeting her team of doctors, specialists who would be actively taking part in her recovery process. One of the saddest and happiest parts was getting to see a video from her phone of her ringing her bell after her last treatment. I so badly wish I could have lived that moment with her, but goodness, what a monumental moment that was nonetheless. What happened inside those walls is still somewhat a mystery to me, but I did my best to stay as close to her as I could in those crazy times. One of the first things I did as mom's treatment start date approached was I went to Michael's and bought one of those giant books filled with decorative paper. The night before each chemo infusion, I would hide away in my room, rip out the cutest paper I could find, and I would think of something fun to write on the sheets, so mom would at least have something fun and entertaining to look at while she was alone in her chair at the City of Hope. One day's paper ended up as a crossword puzzle with our inside jokes as questions and answers. One day had a list of lyrics with blanks for missing words of a song, and mom had to fill in the missing words to the song as a game. I had to keep, I had to keep that big, beautiful, smart brain sharp after all. Another day, her paper simply had a word of encouragement on it. I did one paper for every round of chemo she had, all 16. She was fighting a fight that seemed impossible at times. It was so hard, but at least we found joy in these small moments. I couldn't wait to get a text from her as soon as she read them, and she couldn't wait to reach in her bag and as soon as she sat down in the chair and see what I had wrote for her the night before. Now, as we all know too well, this time together couldn't be just fun and games. We worked together through many exhausting and sickening treatments, many hard conversations, and many unknowns. We had heard and witnessed other people's experiences with cancer before, but had never walked through it so closely and so personally. Being her caregiver was the easiest and hardest thing all at once. She was patient, selfless, gracious, and just unbelievably tough as nails. She kept a brave face and always checked in on her family so intentionally to see how we were doing through her own treatment. Can you imagine that? I wondered all the time how she could stay so strong through such a scary and difficult time with so much certainty. the next day, next month, next year look like for her? How soon will she find her strength again? When will she be herself again? Oh, sorry. It's hard. As I prepared for this speech, I actually went through old texts I kept from this time that I had sent my boyfriend, now fiance, through this process. It was really hard for me to read and remember just how real and raw this was. Through the month of July 2020 alone, I sent him the following text. I'm trying my best, I'm not gonna lie. I think I've cried every day for the past few days. I feel frustrated because it's like I got hit with both of the things that scare me the most. A cancer diagnosis and my mom going through something horrible. I just wish I could know she would be okay and she would never have to deal with this again after this year. Ugh. Gosh, these were really hard to look through. I was hesitant to do this speech at first when my aunt asked me to share. First, probably because I get nervous up in front of crowds, but mostly because I knew it would dredge up all those old, really heart-wrenching feelings and memories. But you know what? Without any hardship, without any adversity in life, it would be really hard for people to recognize just how wonderful life had been. I had never really thought twice or had taken the time to pray for my mom's good health until it was taken from her. I learned how to have perspective in the face of hardship in my life. I had my worst nightmare happen when my mom got sick, but we made it through together. I learned so much from my mom. I learned how to smile and feel joy in the midst of darkness. I learned how to cook a Thanksgiving meal. I learned just how much my mom does normally around the house to keep everyone and everything going. I learned just how tough mothers are for their kids, even when they physically don't have it in them. I learned how to grow up just a little faster than I anticipated. I learned that the seas of life don't always make for smooth sailing, but that's life. Taking care of my mom was messy and painful and beautiful and special. And every night before I go to bed, I pray. Sometimes I forget to pray who I planned for, but I always, without failure, remember to pray for my mom. I pray for her continued health. Oh, please hold. I pray for every scan at her 6-month checkup to be clear, and I pray for the energy and strength that she once had to find its way back into her in full. I'm just beside myself with gratitude for her strength and will to fight this disease, and for God for giving me the ability to take care of her and love her well in this time. I'm so thankful for everyone here, for the relay managers, team captains, volunteers, and the American Cancer Society as a whole. We come together, and in the midst of these fun events and activities, we dutifully remind ourselves of the hard work and sacrifice it takes to make meaningful changes when happen in the lives of people everywhere. Let's keep fighting this good fight together. Thank you guys.